blue, 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 blue Christmas.
Hey, welcome to this extra charity review on Half the Battle, where I talk about toys I got at a recent Comic-Con.
And today I'll be taking a look at another HISS tank. So meet the Walmart Retro HISS 3. This vehicle was released in 2021 with no original parts, since it's another version of the first Retro HISS. My first observation, or question really, is why is this toy in the Retro line? The history wasn't in the original toy line after all. It's not that old or retro.
I mean, it came out in the year 2000, which is only like 22 years ago. If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna have an existential crisis.
If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain.
Okay, is it just me, or is this true for all 80s kids who are G.I. Joe fans? I see anything after 94, or maybe after 98, as new or modern. Even though, as we just saw, some of that stuff is decades old now.
Anyway, let's talk about the toy. It's a HISS tank, so it's awesome. That's it. That's the review. What, you want a little more? Okay, fine.
What makes this a retro HISS 3 anyway? Well, you would think the color scheme, but this one is a semi-gloss blue while the original was more of a dull purple. It seems strange that they would change this since the retro version of the original was a very faithful homage. Not that I really mind, as I was never a fan of the first HISS 3 colors. That's why I only have like 3.
Yes, I'm thinking about getting therapy.
This is probably the closest we'll ever come to an original HISS tank in classic Cobra blue colors, though it's still a different shade. I'm actually amazed that in the like 40 years of the thing existing, they've never used that color scheme for it. Seems like a slam dunk to me. I guess HISS tank Soundwave came close, but that one is a different design.
Anyway,
one thing they did faithfully replicate were the dirt marks on the threads. Another thing I wasn't really a fan of. I don't think it adds more realism and makes the thing look more ugly. Even so, I don't consider it a huge flaw. Like the other Retro HISS, the footpegs on the back are designed with modern figures in mind, so they're smaller and useless for original figures.
I really don't have much more to say. It's a cool HISS tank.
Yeah, doing these videos is easier when the toy sucks. Hi there, Duke. You can only say nice things for so long. I'm still a little puzzled why this retro version exists though. Was anybody really clamoring for a HISS 3 remake? Oh, and yes, the toy did come with a driver, but I won't get into that here, because that's a figure that deserves a proper regular character review, especially since his codename is Cobra's answer to Skid Mark.
Look for that review in the near future.
And that was the Retro HISS 3. It's definitely not one of the best HISS tanks out there, but it's still a cool enough toy, just not without its flaws.
Well, I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing?
Have a blue, 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 blue Christmas.
You know, a thought occurred to me as I was editing. The retro line went straight from the original HISS to the HISS 3, somehow skipping the HISS 2. And quite frankly, I think that toy deserves a retro re-release, more than the HISS 3 anyway. And since they're not opposed to using different colors, maybe they could have gotten rid of the pink then.